Hi everyone. Today, let's talk about CrowdStrike. Every Friday, I analyze one stock and I give you my thoughts. This week's stock is CrowdStrike. They are a cloud-based software security company, and they are part of the tech industry. So if you're paying attention to the markets, anything in tech is going pretty much straight up right now. And the cloud industry specifically is also growing at a very fast rate, and CrowdStrike is no exception. Just for some context, you can see here, CrowdStrike is up almost 100% in the last 3 months. Going over to the 1 year, you can see for the lows of March, it was at $33, and current price is $117.60. So is CrowdStrike still worth buying? Let's find out. As always, there will be some jelly at the end, which is something I enjoyed outside of the markets. If you have big dreams like buying the new 2020 Ford GT, or if you're just getting started on your financial journey, definitely like and subscribe. It has a twin-turbo V6 with 647 horsepower. It goes 0 to 60 in less than 3 seconds. Only 1,350 of them will be made, and they start at $500,000. To keep your dreams at the front of your mind, like and subscribe. Welcome to the Portfolio Bulletin. Let's get started. So what is CrowdStrike? CrowdStrike is a cloud-based security system that is mostly used by big companies to secure their large-scale networks. You can use it for your individual devices, but primarily their goal is to secure large networks with lots of devices. They run all of the heavy computation on their cloud system. That way your computer isn't slowed down by heavy security workloads, which means none of the systems have to be installed on your network or on your personal devices. As you can see here, they advertise cloud-based endpoint protection, which means that each individual device connecting to the network is protected. And cloud delivered means that the heavy computational work is done by cloud servers, which allows your computer to run faster despite having a security software. It also uses artificial intelligence to help learn from past threats to make it a better security system. AI is definitely a future technology that is coming into the present, and anything associated with it seems to be gaining value in the stock market. Lastly, it says here, single agent protection. This is because they offer a complete suite of security softwares that work together. And that way you don't have to have multiple different kinds of software or from different producers on one system. These were all designed by one producer and they work together more effectively. The rest of this page is just some pretty cool marketing. So they have pretty cool graphics. They definitely talk about antivirus in a way that seems more modern. I mean, looking at this website just does not make me think of like the McAfee's or the Nortons that used to exist. This seems like a more effective, more efficient, more aggressive way to protect your computer, and they definitely market it in a way that speaks to that end. Just the words that they use here talking about proactive and seeking out potential abnormalities is not the way that we've looked at security in the past. Everything about this website just says innovative to me, and perhaps that's why it's been getting so much hype. Here you can see all of the different features that their multiple different softwares have. So generally just looking at all of these, you can see they've covered all of the different bases that I can think of, and it seems like they have a complete suite of products. Here you can see all the different kinds of subscriptions that they have, and they are billed monthly, so you can see the different monthly costs. It is a little weird that they don't show the complete protection plan costs. Must be fairly expensive. It does say that they have a $1 million breach warranty plan, so perhaps it's more expensive, more like an insurance as well as a security software. And then you can see all the different products here, and of course the more expensive one has the most amount of features, and even those have additional features that you can add on. So you can see here you have included and elective components. Moving on to the Motley Fool's analysis. CEO George Kurtz uses its deep network connections across its clientele to make the Falcon platform and threat graph get smarter and better and more adept at fighting security dangers. So because this is a cloud system that services multiple companies, and it also uses artificial intelligence to improve its systems, all of the data from all of the networks that it works with improves the system as a whole. They also like the fact that CrowdStrike is made specifically for cloud systems. This really puts it in a position for growth in terms of technology. Cloud systems seem to be the future, and less on-premises solutions will be needed. More than 6,200 clients signed up for CrowdStrike currently, which is up over 100% on the year. They say it's obvious the clients cannot double forever, but there is potential for CrowdStrike to continue its high growth ways. It says here that CrowdStrike is focused on the most vulnerable of spots, where their clients and their respective customers and their employees have to be on guard. This is where they come in contact with the broader internet. Whether it's at home, an in-house server, or a workstation, or a remote laptop, all of these systems need protection. And this is where their Falcon network concentrates on detecting threats. They say this is the first security platform that is focused on cloud technology as its primary means of security and execution. And because of this, CrowdStrike could be disruptive to the industry. They say that non-cloud-based systems like firewalls and antivirus softwares have become increasingly ineffective. But the companies that made these systems were too invested in the old business models and couldn't make the leap, leaving the door open for CrowdStrike. Next is the reasoning that they recommend CrowdStrike. They say that the Rona has dramatically changed the landscape of tech. They say that many companies have had to deal with a rapid rise in remote work, and CrowdStrike has worked closely with these companies to help manage their risks and ensure the easy transition. They say that some companies haven't had to deal with the kinds of dangers that they are dealing with now due to the high levels of remote work. It also says that the pandemic has greatly raised the overall cyber threat attacks, and the CEO mentions that their adversaries are more motivated to harm them now when they think they might not be paying attention. So all of this is to say that the demand for cybersecurity and the specific type of cybersecurity that CrowdStrike provides is going up. Going into the potential risks, CrowdStrike is currently losing money overall, and I will show this later in their earnings per share, but they are reinvesting all of their money into the business for the purposes of growth, and they will eventually reach profitability next year. And it says here that you must be comfortable with short-term losses for a potential long-term gain, which is what they expect from CrowdStrike. They also mention that the stock has held up well in first quarter. However, investors need to be comfortable with a razor-thin margin of safety. In conclusion for this article, it says CrowdStrike is a very unique company, and with their niche in cloud computing, they have a lot of room for growth. Moving on to the Morningstar report. You can see here that Morningstar says it's only 3 stars out of 5 and that the fair value is actually only $82. So Morningstar has a little bit of a bearish perspective on CrowdStrike right now. They think it's overvalued. And if you look here, you can see the earnings per share is crossed out, and that's because they actually haven't made a profit yet. Moving on to the bull case here, it says that CrowdStrike is an innovative endpoint security system. We already talked about this. This means that it goes down to the computer and individual user level. It also mentions CrowdStrike has been gaining clients at a rapid rate, and they've managed to increase margins by cross-selling. Their final point here is that CrowdStrike becomes more and more capable as clients are added, and this is due to the threat intelligence with AI that we mentioned earlier. Moving on to the bear case, it says changing vendors in endpoint security can be less painful than others, and CrowdStrike's competitors may be more aggressively priced in their options. It says margin expansion can be inhibited if CrowdStrike continues its steep marketing and developing costs, which is what we talked about earlier when I said CrowdStrike is reinvesting all of its money into the business right now. The last point here is larger firms with larger operating backgrounds have been adding endpoint security to their portfolios in order to compete with CrowdStrike. Taking a quick look at their financials, you can see here revenue has been growing dramatically. In 2018 and 2019, they grew over 100% in revenue and pretty close to 100% so far in 2020. Despite that, their net income has been pretty close to negative 135 to negative 141 million each of those years, and that's because they continue to reinvest pretty much all of their revenue into the business. In terms of earnings per share, it's actually been decreasing, so it's become more and more of a negative number since they were founded. And all of this is because CrowdStrike is a growth company right now. Looking at Morningstar's projections, they estimate below $90 for the end of 2020. They did upgrade their fair value a little bit, but they still have a bearish projection for right now. The more that I look at these Morningstar reports, it seems like anytime there is a tech company, they don't view technology as a real asset. And a lot of these tech companies that I continue to look at seem to be outperforming their Morningstar reports. So just keep that in mind as you look at this. So to summarize, CrowdStrike is a cloud security system. They are currently in the growth phase. And based on their current value, you could say they are overvalued. But if you're buying this stock for a 5 to 10 year term, then I am bullish on CrowdStrike. It is a pretty volatile stock, so be aware of that if you decide to take a position. And I do recommend that you hold this company for 5 to 10 years because it is currently in the growth phase. But of course, this is not financial advice. This is all for entertainment purposes. Comment down below what you think of CrowdStrike. Definitely like and subscribe if you got any value out of this video. And with that, let's get to the jelly. So today's jelly is the Guinness Book of World Records for the world's largest firework. This was actually done this year in February. This video really speaks for itself, but it is absolutely massive and crazy. So here's what that looks like. As you can see, this thing basically lit up the entire night sky, and I bet it was difficult even getting the charge into the air, let alone designing the whole thing. Comment down below what you thought of this firework. Again, make sure you like and subscribe before you go, and have a great day.